Flood situation worsens in Sylhet, Sunamganj, 3 million people marooned. 4 dead, 6 injured in landslides in Chattogram. Politicians should form consensus for a free, fair national election, says Dr. Bodiul. Assalamu alaikum. This is Chaudhry Sama. Welcome you all to evening news. You have just heard the headlines. Now let's move on to the details. The flood situation in Bangladesh's northeast region has further deteriorated, leaving over 3 million people marooned in Sylhet, Sunamganj and different upazilas and towns. As thousands of flood victims are waiting to be rescued, they have been hit hard by the soaring price and fare of watercraft in Sylhet and Sunamganj. Although the army and local public representatives along with volunteers have been running rescue operations since Saturday, people from several water-trapped areas have made anxious appeals for more water transport. Flood water has entered the Sylhet railway station, forcing authorities to stop trains leaving from Dhaka and Chattogram at the Majgaon railway station. Floods triggered by heavy rainfall have submerged 11 upazilas in Sunamganj, leaving close to 2.9 million people stranded. Following the collapse of road links and air communication of 2 districts with the rest of the country, the internal communication system has also broken down. The army started rescue operations. The Navy, Air Force and Coast Guard also joined the rescue and relief efforts.
আমাদের আশপাশের যত বাসা আছে আর সবার নিচতলা ডুবে গেছে গিয়া আলামিন আমাদেরকে সাহায্য করবেন সবাই দোয়া করবেন আমাদের সিলেটবাসীর জন্য
দোকানপাটও বন্ধ খুব অসহায় অবস্থা আছে বাচ্চাদেরকে নিয়ে প্লাবিত বন্যা প্রায় কমন পানি ঘরের মধ্যে
Bangladesh Met Office today predicted light to moderate rain or thunder showers accompanied by temporary gusty wind at Sylhet, Mymensingh and other different parts of the country in 24 hours.
3-4 দিন কন্টিনিউ করবে না এটা হচ্ছে হয়তো 3-4 দিনের মধ্যে কোনো এক সময় আজকের দিনের মধ্যে হয়তো কোনো এক সময় হতে পারে অথবা কালকে হতে পারে জিনিসটা কি এরকম আর কি একেবারে নির্দিষ্ট করে মানে বলা যাবে না যে ঢাকার এই আগারগাতেই 89 মিলিমিটার বা 100 মিলিমিটার বৃষ্টি হবে এরকম বলা যাবে না তবে কোনো করে যেমন ধরেন যে কালকে আমার মিরপুর এলাকায় কিন্তু অনেক বৃষ্টি হয়েছে বাট আগারগাতের পরিমাণ একটু কম হয়েছে
BNP has blamed the ruling regime's submissive foreign policy for ongoing worsening flood situation in the northern region of Bangladesh. BNP Secretary General Mr. Fakhruddin Islam Alamgir came up with the remarks while addressing a conference of Uttara BNP's Bhatara unit today. He said the Awami government has failed to ink a deal for the fair share of water from the Bangladesh and India's common rivers despite its holding power over a decade. He said ruling party is now in celebration mood ahead of the Podda Bridge opening when flood-affected people are suffering severely.
এই সরকার গত এক যুগেও ভারতের সঙ্গে যে সমস্ত অভিন্ন নদী রয়েছে এই অভিন্ন নদীগুলোর যে পানি বন্টনের যে চুক্তি সেই চুক্তি করতে সক্ষম হয় নাই জনগণের এই কষ্টের সময় সরকার আপনার ব্যস্ত হয়ে আছে উৎসব নিয়ে তারা পদ্মা ব্রিজের উদ্বোধন নিয়ে এত ব্যস্ত যে তার মানুষের কল্যাণের দিকে তাকানোর কোনো সময় নেই মানুষের কষ্টের দিকে তাকানোর কোনো সময় নেই
At least 31 people have died as the flood situation in India's Assam and Meghalaya states deteriorated, with major rivers continuing to swell amid incessant rains. At least 1.9 million people in 28 districts of Assam have been affected by the floods, with the newly formed Bajali district being the worst hit. The water levels in the Brahmaputra and Gaurango rivers were flowing above the danger level at many points. The flood left at least 12 people dead in Assam in the last 2 days. Meghalaya has reported 19 deaths during that time. The weather department has extended the red alert in the 2 states till this weekend. Former CC ATM Shamsul Huda has said Bangladesh's democracy is weakening gradually. He said corruptions are on the rise due to lack of good governance. He came up with the remarks while addressing the 8th National Conference of Citizens for Good Governance, Sujon. Joining the conference, several speakers said in unison that Bangladesh's democracy has weakened as the state isn't committed to the principles of good governance. Speakers also urged the political parties of the country to pave the way for holding next parliamentary election in a free, fair manner.
এই অবস্থা যদি আমাদের উত্তরণ ঘটাতে হয় তাহলে কোনো দলের পক্ষে, ব্যক্তির পক্ষে তো নয়, কোনো দলের পক্ষে এককভাবে এই সমস্যাগুলোর সমাধান করা সম্ভব নয়। আর আমাদের দরকার একটা জাতীয় সমঝোতা। রাজনীতিবিদদেরকে এবং সকল সুবুদ্ধি সম্পন্ন নাগরিকের কাছে আমাদের আহ্বান এবং সকল অংশীজনের কাছে আহ্বান, আমরা এবারে সোচ্চার হই আমাদের রাজনীতিবিদরা যেন এরকম একটা ঐক্যমত্যে পৌঁছে যার ভিত্তিতে একটা সুষ্ঠু নির্বাচন হবে।
At least 4 people were killed and 6 others injured after rain-triggered landslides struck their houses in different areas of Chattogram on early today. Police say the first landslide took place in the port city's Borishal Ghona area at around 1 a.m. 2 sisters died on the spot. Their parents, who were injured in the accident, were currently undergoing treatment. Besides, 2 brothers were killed in a landslide that occurred in the Bijoynagar area of Foizlex at around 3:30 a.m. Local administration identified some 835 poor and lower income families living in the 17 most vulnerable hills in Chattogram. As per government data, a total 207 people were killed in landslides in Chattogram in the last decade. Heavy rains that started 3 days ago inundated many parts of the city. Now, international news. Indian authorities suspended internet services in several parts of the eastern state of Bihar in a bid to stop public gatherings and violent protest over a military recruitment plan. 1 protester was killed and more than a dozen have been injured in a series of protests in some regions of the country against Prime Minister Narendra Modi's new policy to hire soldiers for short tenures. The Agnipath or system aims to bring more people into the military on 4-year contracts to lower the average age of India's 1.38 million strong armed forces and cut burgeoning pension costs, the government said. Protesters, mainly young men, say the plan will limit opportunities for permanent jobs with the defense forces, which guarantee fixed salaries, pensions and other benefits. Many took to the streets in Bihar, Telangana, Uttar Pradesh and West Bengal to protest against this plan. Now, sports cricket. Mehdi Hasan Miraj bowled brilliantly just before tea and in the evening session, and his 4-wicket haul didn't let the West Indies take a lead of more than 162. The host lost their last 7 wickets for just 68 runs as Bangladesh bowlers reaped the rewards of their persistence. When Brathwaite got out to Khaled, the West Indies were 197 for 7. Miraj was then introduced into the attack by Saqib, and the move paid dividends as he bowled an 11-over spell and picked up 4. The pace duo of Ibadat and Khaled took 2 wickets apiece. Mustafiz and Saqib picked up 1 each. Miraj was promoted to number 3, but his innings were short-lived. Mohammad saw off the new ball well and faced 60 balls for his 18 not out. Shantu accompanied him. Bangladesh finished the day at 50 for 2, still 112 runs behind. Before ending, let's have a look on the headlines once again. Flood situation worsens in Sylhet, Sunamganj, 3 million people marooned. 4 dead, 6 injured in landslides in Chattogram. Politicians should form consensus for a free, fair national election, says Dr. Bodiul. And that's all from the newsroom for now. To know updates videos of this bulletin, visit our website www.ntvbd.com. Besides, visit our YouTube and verified Facebook page for updates over NTV's all popular programs and bulletins. Our next bulletin, Shondha Khabur, will be aired in Bangla at 7:30 p.m. Thank you for being with us. Have a good time.